Hey Scott, Bounty Hunter Bootcamp. This vlog we're doing a little different. We're talking with Ryan Harris, who's went through our class 2 years ago. He's been licensed for 2 years, and he's got some advice for everybody that always is asking me, how do I get into this? What do I have to expect? We're going uncut, unedited, on the fly. Thanks so much for stopping by.
You're welcome. Yeah.
And yeah, you said some great stuff in class, and I want everybody to hear it.
The main thing that I wanted to say to anybody getting started in this is to realize that it's not just about chasing bad guys and making arrests and kicking doors. Certainly, we do a lot of that kind of stuff, but this is a people business. So we're not a charity, we're not a welfare program, we're not trying to help people start their lives over or anything like that. But you are dealing with individuals, and human beings are emotional beings, and our behavior is often an instantaneous emotional decision. So when you're going out into the field and you're going after a skip, you want to be thinking to yourself, what's the behavior, or even if you're not going after the skip, you're just trying to talk to the cosigner, the indemnitor, their boyfriend, girlfriend, the hotel manager, what's the behavior that I want from this person, and what behavior from me is most likely going to elicit that response? Because everybody's different, and you using the exact same approach all the time it's not a one-size-fits-all. You can treat everybody the same and get the same response from everyone. So there are some people that, yeah, you're going to want them to give up immediately. If you know that you're going after a runner, if you know you're going after someone who's got a serious criminal history, someone who has some sort of tactical or physical advantage on you, stature-wise or anything like that, you might want someone to give up right away, and you might go in very heavy hitting and scolding and big tone of voice, and you need to show me your hands right now, and you might be using that very authoritative, fast talking, loud bark so that they just immediately go okay and give up. Other people, if you're trying to get information from someone, and maybe they want to give you that information, or maybe they don't know what you're going to do to their baby boy, their son, when you meet them. Are you going to rough them? Right, are you going to rough them up? Are you going to be cool? Have they been lied to before by anyone wearing the kind of vests that we wear? Are we all the same to them? So saying things sometimes like, listen, I'm just here to help you. I'm here to help you get off this bond. I can make sure they don't get additional charges like bail jumping. I can make sure that they don't pick up any new charges on their way to jail, making sure they've got drugs and weapons off of them. We've just got to get some paperwork signed. I know the bondsman. I can give them a good recommendation to the bondsman to get it back out, and make sure they don't have a warrant hanging over their head, and get you off this $5,000 bond if we can just meet up in person and have this be amicable. And sometimes them trusting you a little bit and trying to set up a meeting. I've had multiple co-signers or family members be like, yeah, you know what, this is the guy who's going to get you into jail without getting injured or without trying to screw you over or give you additional charges, and he's going to get you right back out. He's giving you a really good offer. You should take them up on this. And I've had people turn themselves in even just doing that. Other times you're taking down a huge guy in front of a trap house with, the inhabitants have DOC warrants, there's drugs involved, he's huge, you don't know what he's going to do, he's known that you've been looking for him and has been avoiding you, and you roll up and you're scolding and talking loudly and barking orders and making sure that he knows you are no one to be messed with. And if you can assert that authoritarian presence and be believable, then that behavior of, okay, all right, whatever you say that you needed happens right away. But it's not a one-size-fits-all. You got to think, what am I trying to get out of this person, and how do they need to see me to get that behavior?
You have a unique background. Do you think that your unique background dealing with the people that you deal with every day at your full-time job helps you deal with the grown-up versions of them? Yeah,
absolutely. If you've worked in any kind of industry that has a people element, if you've worked in sales, right, you're trying to convince people of something, you're trained in identifying objections, overturning them, and then turning that objection into a benefit for buying the product or the process or whatever it is. If you've worked in any kind of industry where you've had to make quick decisions or manage people, any kind of supervisory role, that's going to come in very, very, very handy. I have a background in training people and working with a lot of different people in group situations and training situations, and that's been very, very helpful for me in the people element of this job, which I think is the most important part. If you work in an industry where that's not so much the case, if you're more often in a cubicle, if you're more often in an office alone, if your day job has been like data entry over a laptop, coding anything, if you've done any kind of manual labor where you're kind of working alone and not having to interact with people and mitigate human behavior, then you're going to need to work on that, find a way to acquire that skill set, go to a class, do as many role-playing scenarios as you can with people who've been in the industry, do as many case studies as you can of like the videos that Scott posts on his channel of interacting with all different types of people. Really work on that, put yourself out there, meet some people, try going to some sort of community group, get involved somewhere that you can start to interact with different types of personalities, and try to meet some strangers or some new friends and just try different approaches to see what different behaviors from you get different behaviors from other people. What can you do to make them laugh? What can you do to make them think? What can you do to show them that you're serious about something in a non-threatening, non-harmful way?
And you looked at before you came and took our class a couple years ago. I mean, you did your research, you did your homework.
Yeah, and that's what you're going to need to do when you're in the field talking to Skips. You know, before I even signed up for Scott's class, I watched every YouTube video he had. I read every article that Google would pop up with his name in it. I researched, good or bad, I researched the bail bonds industry. I looked at his website, and I called him up. I emailed him and said, I'm thinking about taking your class, can I call you? And we talked, and we had a pretty long conversation about what is it like to have a day job and try getting into this? How do you actually get work? How will your class prepare me for moving forward? There are, you know, different academies that offer the kind of training that he offers, and I wanted to know if his was the right fit for me. And he was perfectly willing to talk to me and answered all the questions that I had, answered my situation specifically, was able to relate to my situation specifically, having come from his own day job into this field, kind of doing both at the same time. And that was really helpful. So that's why I chose Bounty Hunter Bootcamp, and all of those things ended up panning out.
How's our post network after graduation?
It's great because there is an online group of graduates that communicate and stay in touch. You can vet the people that you're wanting to work for. You can vet the people you're wanting to work with or inviting them to work with you. I've certainly gotten multiple contracts and multiple people I've been in the field with through that Facebook group.
So overall, the academy experience was good, but the after stuff, networking, you found your partner, you found him in class.
Found my partner in class, have had other people that I've worked with in the field through having done this group, have gotten contracts and work through this group or through the connections I've made in this group, be it from Scott or anyone else. So,
do you like what you do? Do you like
I do. You know, it's so great to solve the puzzle, to do the investigation and figure out who's related to who and who's in what Facebook picture with who, and this person works over at that place, and then to start interviewing them and piece it all together, and then actually go out in the field and know what you're doing and meet people and kind of have the tactical intellectual edge, knowing more than they think you know about them already. And then when you actually find that skip and you get them into custody and deliver them, and you get your bondsman happy and you get your paycheck, and that person's back where they were supposed to be in the first place. Yeah, it's a great feeling. It's a really fun process.
Cool. I appreciate you taking your time out.
Thanks
Make
for
sure
having
you
me.
hit the subscribe button, turn the bell on, follow us on Instagram. Do you got any social media you want to plug?
No, I'm good.
No,
Thanks very much.
He's private. Thank you.